What is up, Wizards fans? Welcome to another Believe in Wizards podcast. I'm Matt Modderno. He's Jahadi White. We are back for another episode. We're going to run down each of the players on the Wizards this year and our personal expectations for them and their role with the team and what you guys can really expect for them for the season. But first, Jahadi, as always, how you doing?
Oh man, can't complain. Can't complain. Life's good this way,
Yeah,
And if I had any complaints, I'll call you first.
there you go. I'll always listen to you. I got one complaint for you. We are doing this during the Ravens game right now, and I am so glad that we are because I'm not used to bad football as a Ravens fan, and they are getting
Man,
punked right now by the Texans of all teams. So not
what's
ideal.
the score of that game? We losing?
It was 17-3 when I went
What's
upstairs
going
to
on with
set
the
this up.
Ravens? That's my favorite team too.
Yeah, not great.
Been hard to watch them last few games.
Yeah, Lamar. So Lamar's out for 3 weeks now until the bye week. So it's actually 24-3 at the time of this recording. So even worse. So I think we might be in for a rough year here. Maybe Lamar comes back and they can sneak their way in the wild card spot or something.
Yeah, hopefully.
But that's okay. We'll just pretend it's basketball season, which it basically is, and we're gonna run through each of the players on the roster as I mentioned. But first, just one topic here. This is kind of the biggest thing in Wizards world right now. Most fans are familiar with this story, I think, but the Wizards were not able to complete a deal, or Monumental Sports was not able to complete a deal with YouTube TV and Hulu TV, so you will not be able to catch those games on either streaming service. If you are someone like me who uses Hulu TV, that's a bit of a bummer. So now your only option to catch those Wizards games, unless you have cable, is to watch on the Monumental Sports app, which would be one thing in a vacuum, but they are charging people $20 a month, Jahadi, for this app that's basically just, the Wizards games, the Mystics games, and the Capitals games, and then their quote really exciting independent or like whatever other alternative stuff they offer on there, like the Rachel Nichols half hour a week on Hometown Heroes and stuff like that. It somehow justifies being more expensive than any other streaming service that you can get out there, which is crazy to me. Like HBO is cheaper per month than the Monumental Sports app. That's just absolutely insane and greedy to me.
Yeah, well, I did hear they were trying to do some deal with $20 off of the app.
Okay.
I think you got to get it for the entire year, and I
Uh huh.
think it still come out to probably almost $200. But I
Okay.
mean,
It's
it's
not as bad, but
minus $20. But
right.
yeah, I heard that. I also heard that they were trying to kind of start a lot of the Wizards and the Capitals and the Mystic fans to really, really call into Hulu and say they
Mm,
were going to drop
pressure.
Hulu. And I think
Yeah.
Zach Leonsis
Mm-hmm.
was talking about something. I think it was on Media Day
Yeah.
or some type of a press conference where he was talking about um, the fans call Hulu and call YouTube
Mm,
and demand that they do a deal because they weren't even trying to negotiate the deal
yeah.
or respond back. They just gave them a number and that was it. So, then it came out the deal just didn't the deal fell through and didn't happen. It wasn't important enough to I guess Hulu or YouTube. So it's going to be crazy to have for Monumental Sports to be dark with. Is that just the Wizards games or is that's just with the Wizards
Capitals
game?
and Mystics too. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to go dark, it's going to be tough. Um, it's really going to be tough to try to create some more content on that station when basically it's we watched it mostly for the sports, Washington D.C. sports teams.
They have tried to pick up a few other things throughout the year, like some high school games, a couple college games here and there. Like George Washington's had a few games and on the network and stuff like that in the past, but not enough to justify the subscriptions. If this were even like $9.99 a month, I don't think anybody would really bat an eyelash at having to use their sort of underdeveloped user interface or whatever the case may be here. But $20 a month just strikes me as like a little rich for something so regionally specific like this. And then you do this on the back of the Wizards raising ticket prices again this year, knowing they're going to be historically bad for a second year in a row. They raised them last year, they raised them the year before that. So you lean fully into a rebuild and then decide to keep jacking prices up. Like, it just strikes me as a little tone deaf. I understand that there are business, objectives at play here that they are beholden to, but it just I don't know. It just from the fan experience couldn't be lower. Like they're just the vibes are low right now. I think for me as a fan, I think some other fans out here too.
Yeah, I mean, in the end of the day, we don't know what's behind the scenes as far
Yeah,
as
sure.
them being able to run a network and what they have to pay to make it
Right.
happen. But I do know there's some other NBA teams,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of NBA teams that have these same networks,
Yep.
and they're to offer their price that they offer is significantly lower.
Yep. I think Phoenix is
So
one of
but that
them.
may just be what they have to deal with. So
Right.
who knows?
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully, they can get like a 25th hour deal done or something just to give us some options here. But I am not looking forward to that personally. I feel like I pay more money than when I had cable, but it's okay.
So if you can go to another service like um, one of the other services outside of YouTube or Hulu,
Mm.
you could still get Wizards games?
Those are really the main ones to get like live sports as a non-cable subscriber. So I'm sure there may be other things out there like Fubo or something like that, but
Right.
I haven't tried it personally to see what's out there. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah.
I got to do some window shopping here a little bit and just see what my options are.
I
Other
mean,
than
what
that
about
app.
Amazon? Does Amazon have a service?
No, not yet. I'm shocked that they don't. That's probably only
Yeah,
a
I'm
matter of
sorry. Yeah,
time.
they usually have everything else, so I
Yeah,
figured they would
exactly.
have one. But yeah,
So either that, or I got to go get a nice VPN or something and get League Pass and sneak my way around and say, I live in
or or
Seattle
get
or something.
one of those pirate joints.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
Those broken fire sticks.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so always just get one of those broken fire sticks and holler at your homeboy Pookie.
That's right.
He got one for you.
There's got to be some options out there and people making some money with this on the side.
It's always a way.
Yep, exactly. So we'll keep everybody updated on that. Uh, on the Wizards podcast, Greg Finberg and Troy Halliburton went in and did a deep dive on that. They did a good job. If you want a little more nuance into that, folks can go check them out. Always some smart combo between the two of them. So they got a little more detail today. We're going to run down just this roster and kind of what we're expecting from these guys. So I've got them in kind of a random order here, just so it's not, let's go through the guy that's going to average the most points all the way down. Let's start with one of the veterans, and let's just go Chris Middleton. Last year, only played in 37 games, averaged about 12 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, 4.1 assists, shot about 36% from three. He's just not the same Chris Middleton, at least from where he was, when the Bucks won the title. Maybe he bounces back a little bit with another year, of injury recovery under his health or under his belt here, but we'll see. Jahadi, what are you expecting from Chris Middleton this season for the Wizards?
I think it gets up to a point in basketball in your professional career where your mind says you can do a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but when it translates to the body says, "Oh, you need to relax, mind. You need to slow down. Like we're not the same guy anymore." And I think that's the place Chris Middleton is right now, as far as like, I think his mind is trying to tell him he can do a lot, and I think he finally came to the realization that his body
Sure.
is it's just not the same as it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what all he can give us right now, other than like experience and expertise as a pro.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he has a lot of information to pass down because he's played some high caliber games. He's played in some of the toughest games. He's been in the toughest battles. He's won a championship. So at this point, it's not so much what he does is what's the value of Chris Middleton to me is everything he can give, and everything he can see. Yep. Now, I think he's at the part in his game where he knows how to play smarter, not harder.
Yep.
And that's where his effectiveness come in. But outside of that, after watching him last year, I think he just came to the realization.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's okay too. Again, like it'd be worse if he wasn't, on or self-aware about where he's at physically and at the point of the career he's at. But To me, he's like the perfect mentor for somebody like Keyshawn George on paper. Like, they're both not crazy athletes. They're both about the same height. They both profile as shooter, floor spacers who can put the ball on the floor a little bit and play make. And I think he's someone that, despite not being that kind of crazy athlete, was like a pretty good defender at the peak, of his play for the Bucks. So if he can kind of help with that, where to be positionally and just be solid and help some of these rookies mature a little bit, I think again that off court value, like you talked about there, could be just as high as what he's able to give him on court at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
It'll be interesting to see who starts. To me, you could probably start him just from like he's a veteran guy and make one of these other guys earn it, at least to start the year with Koulibaly out. Like if they started Keyshawn and Middleton, it wouldn't really shock me. But if it was Keyshawn and Cam Whitmore, it wouldn't really shock me. Or Middleton and Cam Whitmore. Like those are probably the three guys I think fighting for two wing spots realistically. But we'll see. To me, he's probably not a guy you want playing, more than low 20s minutes per game just from where he's at physically. And also wouldn't shock me if he's a potential trade candidate. If he does look a little more spry and, one of these teams could, absorb the contract for the last second half of a year on there just to get him over the hump with some playoff depth or something like that. Maybe the Wizards would take a few second round picks back for him or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad situation to have him in the starting lineup because from my experience, it's better to take information in real time.
Okay.
Right. And the best person to get your information in real time is the guy on the floor with you. Right. Because it could be a talk at the free throw line. It can be, hey, look at that cut right there. Now, all those things, it's best to learn in real time than when you go sit on the bench and then you then he's trying to explain everything to you at one time that he saw. And that'd be good to me for a player to get that information, especially like a player like Keyshawn George, to get that information in real time while you got that guy right there on the court with you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Having some veteran experience in the starting lineup is good, and I think the other vet they'll start here is
And
CJ
it takes a lot of pressure off too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like to have a guy, you have your earpiece right there.
That's a good point.
That's brings some level of comfortability.
It's also, I think, easier to evaluate the growth of your younger players when they're just next to someone solid like that. Like, if you're playing all your rookies out there together, it's all right. Somebody made a mistake there. Whose mistake did it compound another? Like, it's just harder to get like a real sense for where everyone's at from last year if you don't have like good baselines. So I think that'll help them from a development standpoint too. Chris Middleton's our next guy. Started 56 games last year, or played 56 games last year. Averaged 21.1 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 4.1 assists. Shot about 37% from three. So combo guard, play on-off ball. I would expect he'll start again this year. To me, he's probably the most likely guy to lead this team in scoring this season.
Who are you talking about?
CJ McCollum.
Oh, okay. You said Middleton.
Oh, did I? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him right after Chris Middleton on my chart. Thank you for calling me out. Chris Middleton,
my
first
bad.
guy we talked about.
It just threw me off a little bit.
Long day. I'm still thinking about that Wizards score, man. Or the Wizards score. See, the Ravens score. Jesus. CJ McCollum, next guy on the list, 21 points per game, about 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 37% from three. Probably the most likely guy to lead this team in scoring, I would think. But another guy I could see them trading if he's got value at the deadline. Last year of his deal, a team wouldn't really balk at adding dead money or whatever the case may be. And if you're the Wizards, if some team feels he has something to give them, maybe you get something back. In terms of draft assets, whatever, young guy with some upside, that kind of thing. The problem is he makes a lot of money, so it's hard to find teams that could take on $30 million. But I do think he's at least a candidate. Anything else on CJ and the role you expect him to play here, Jahadi? Do you think he's the guy that probably leads the team in scoring?
I do think he's the guy who leads the team in scoring. And the thing is, we have to have an effective vet.
Yeah.
Right. And so CJ McCollum fits perfectly to me because he's still an effective vet. He still can be a high efficient scoring vet.
Yep.
And he's probably one of the most cerebral players in the league.
Yep.
and we have a lot of good young talent,
Mm-hmm.
right? That he can really pass down. That really needs C.J. McCollum on their team,
Yep.
right? They need him as a teammate. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's a teammate a lot of players actually need because he understands the game and he still knows how to be efficient at
Sure.
this point in his game. Um, on top of that, there's so many other things outside of playing on the court
Mm-hmm.
that plays a role in being an NBA player, that to be able to have someone knows how to navigate those places, know where to go, um, been through it, the Players Association, running the Players Association, being the president of the Players Association, all those things are very, very intricate to a young player's, just growth in this league.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
it just when you learn off the court, you learn the business. When you learn the business of basketball off the court,
Mm-hmm.
you understand more what on the court is,
Yep.
right? And you also understand like how both of them correlate, like
Mm-hmm.
So I think that McCullum CJ is a really good pickup for
Yep.
so many different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he covers a lot of spots,
Yeah.
throughout the team wise. So I think they should keep him throughout his entire contract. I think that it makes more sense that way.
Yeah, this is the last year of his deal. I think if you're not going to get something valuable back, like a real asset back in return, I wouldn't be trading him for 2 second round picks or something like that. Like you said, the sort of intrinsic value there is definitely higher. And also just he's still good enough that he takes pressure off these other guys like you
Yeah.
talked about with Middleton. It's he can do it more on the court here too. I think you'll see some of these guys get a few more open looks because CJ is still a guy that's got some gravity, but also a willing enough passer. Like I think that'll hopefully help. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Next guy I got on the list here, Corey Kispert. Last year played in 61 games, 11.6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 36.5% from three. To me, he's realistically just sort of a bench shooter, floor spacer type. I don't see him being that much more at this point. Like I think the Corey Kispert starter on a good playoff team kind of thing is out the window. It's, to me, sort of is what he is. You have to shoot better than 36% from three if you're just basically a 3 point shooting specialist. Like I know we talk about the cutting and the finishing at the rim has gotten better and improved like that, but like his swing skill is the shooting. Like that's what's getting him on the court. And if he's 40%, that makes a bigger difference. And you can kind of absorb some of the nights where he's maybe not on or the defense isn't as good because he still has that gravity. I'm just not scared of a 36% 3 point sniper. Like it just, as a team, I'm like, okay, cool. If Corey Kispert beats me, like I'll live with that, I guess.
I my take on Corey Kispert a little bit different than yours because
Okay.
he's to be the high volume, the main scorer coming off the bench is always needed. You don't want that big drop
Sure.
once you start getting guys off the bench,
Mm-hmm.
and so he serves a big role,
Yeah.
right?
It's solid.
Yeah. Does he need to shoot better? Well, better 3 points percentage? Absolutely.
Mm.
But to me, when I'm watching Corey Kispert, he's probably our best player to move without the ball.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably our best player to move without the ball. He doesn't matter getting downhill. He runs the floor well. So what can you replace Corey Kispert with?
Yeah.
Right. He serves a niche role.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been serving that role for us, and doing a good job for some years now.
Yep.
I don't know how you replace that. And that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, can he be better? But he hasn't been crazy inconsistent, right?
No,
He
I think he's been
he
very
understands his
consistent.
role
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
does his role. And
Yep.
it's to put up shots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a bad role to have.
Sure.
And it's
Yeah.
not like you're paying a lot for the role.
Yeah.
Right? What are you making? What 13?
Yeah. Somewhere in that ballpark, maybe 11,
Yeah, so I
12.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm Corey Kispert, yeah, I want to get my field goal percentage up some more, but I don't know how much, especially from three, you
Mm.
know, and from the field if I can. But I don't know how much more of an upside you're gonna get from him. But you're not getting a downside.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's what I meant. He is what he is. Like you can kind of expect this level of production. I
Yeah,
just don't. I don't expect there to be like a jump for him to take at this point.
yeah. I don't see a jump other than him shooting over 40% 3 point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting. Like his years are pretty consistent. As a rookie, he averaged 8 points per game, 35% from three. Took a jump as a sophomore, 11 points per game, 42% from three. Then as a junior, third year player in the league, 13.4 points per game, 38% from three. And then last year back down to 11, 36% from three on relatively the same volume, 4.2 attempts, 5.2 attempts, 6 attempts, 5.4 attempts. So he's going to shoot around five-ish, 5.5 threes per game. He's going to make high-ish 30% of them, and he's going to score about 11 points. Like, that's solid. It's exactly what you said.
yeah,
And if he's your guy off the bench, and you're right, he does make just under 14 million this year. Got a great deal actually. He makes less money every year. Than the fourth year of the deal, he'll make exactly 13. So it's not a lot to pay for a guy that's solid. To me, the percentage has to go up because he gets hunted defensively, and
yeah.
it's just harder to justify that for the 36% Corey Kispert. But if he's 42% again, okay, I can live with that.
Right.
So we'll see where he goes. But yeah, solid, and I think he makes the other guys better just from gives them some room to operate too. Next guy here is Alex Sarr. I think the role and expectation is starting center. Last year averaged 67, or he started 67 games, 13 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 blocks. It was only 39% from the field and 31% from three. So those have to get better to me. And he has talked a few times in media day stuff so far about trying to be more efficient around the rim, do more things around the rim, do more big man stuff. And I think that's what you and I talked about a lot last year is just needing to see him do the big man things a little bit better before we see all the pick and pop things. So if he can just be a little more efficient and get that number at 50% from the field and low 30s from three and take a jump there while also continuing to get stronger and better defensively, I would consider that a good year from Alex Sarr.
Yeah, like what he's shooting about 5 threes a game.
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah.
I think he should shoot less threes a game. I don't
Agreed.
mind him taking threes a game because
Sure.
I think it can be effective sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're shooting what is it, 32% from three,
Yeah.
that's for a big man that's not bad, but taking that many, you have to be So I
Defenses will
think with
happily
Sarr,
let you keep doing that. Like if you're going
yeah,
to shoot
yeah, I mean, I'm like,
31%,
take it,
cool.
go ahead,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and it has been effective in some games where you played like you played like Giannis, or you played like Denver, big
Mm-hmm.
fella in Denver.
Jokic.
But the thing with him I see is he's gonna have to start seeking contact. All right.
Yep.
I think that's the next level. Like you want to get fouls and you want to get and ones.
Right.
And that's going to be big for him. He needs to at least shoot 10 free throws a game.
Yeah, he was at 2.5 this year. That's just
Yeah.
not good enough. If he gets a
So
6, I'd call that a win.
so the 3 pointers that you're missing, you need to make up at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Right. You should already know, okay, I'm going to get at least 6 to 10 points from the free throw line a game.
That'd be great.
Right. I need to add that in. Only way I can do that is I gotta attack the person who's guarding me, like
Yeah.
go through his body, right? Have him put my arms through his jumping area, all those things. So right now, I think that's the thing he needs to pretty much add to his game, right? Is doing that. If he does get his 3-point percentage up from the three, then he can also if they start respecting his three a little bit more, he can get some downhill.
Downhill. Yeah, exactly.
But right now he's not getting that many because no one is really pressing the, on defensive wise against his threes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely the next move for him to be dominant around the basket,
Yeah.
and not just even if he don't attack the basket, he has to be more efficient on a hook or something going
Mm-hmm.
over a man. If you get a nice hook that's pretty much guaranteed, then okay, we fine with that too. But right now I don't know what's a surround the basket game. I don't. It's
There really
not an
isn't one.
Alex Sarr move that I
Yeah.
say, okay, all right, we're going to do the Alex Sarr move. It's not one that exists right now.
Yeah.
So, um, his main thing to me is just getting to that free throw line.
I would love that, especially because I think he's got good enough. I mean, he was only 67-ish% from the free throw line this year, but only 2.5 attempts. Like, that's more about volume. I think he'd be a 70-some% free throw shooter just given his touch, and
Yeah,
that's
and one is a three.
yeah, exactly right.
You
Uh,
know,
one move. I'm with you. Just one move. Like, I don't
yeah.
even care about counters and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
have one move, and then we'll build from there. But like, we don't need Kevin McHale and like this bag of tricks. Like, just one move that's hard to stop. Jahadi, I know it's a different league, but in your day, if you had tried to fade away while taking a floater as a 7 foot tall player, like, how would your coaches have reacted? How would your teammates have reacted to you? Like, he fades away on like little like bunnies from the rim. I just don't. I don't know. Like, try to dunk on somebody at some point. Like, just something.
I became a starter in the NBA because the guy they brought in front of me faded away every time.
Is that Ike?
And every time I saw him fade away, I look at the coaches and I look at their expression,
Yep.
and I was like, okay. As soon as I go in, I'm gonna do everything that they're making the faces of him because
Yep.
he's not doing.
Yep.
Right? That fade away as a big is a bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless you're like LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, so you've got incredible touch. You can do that. Yeah.
You got incredible touch, and it's impossible to stop,
Right.
and it's going in into right now. Okay, I take that fade away all day, but
Exactly.
fading away with jumping with your back going away from the rim and your body going toward the rim
Yeah.
is bad math.
Yeah. You're making yourself smaller too, and
Yeah,
negating your own physical advantages. I totally agree. Next guy we got here, Trey Johnson. I'm curious what we'll get from Trey in year one. Does he start? Does he okay coming off the bench to begin the year? I think it's something like C.J. McCollum, Bub, Carrington, Trey Johnson. You probably only can start two of the three. I'm curious which two it'll be. Bub's kind of the incumbent, but maybe he's okay coming off the bench. I'm just kind of curious how this will go in camp. But what are you expecting from Trey this season?
I think what I know his work ethic is amazing, right?
Yeah,
I know that Trey is will try to train to be perfect, right? And that's what I like. Keyshawn George was talking about,
mm-hmm.
just being able to work out with Trey, and how his training is completely different than everybody else's. Like
Yeah,
he's training for perfection,
mm-hmm.
right? I think in the end of the day, that's going to always surpass eventually
Mm-hmm.
the other players. Now, do I expect him to be on the floor a lot? Yes.
Sure.
Do I expect him to be able to compete for a starting position? Yes. Now, I don't know how would that look for Bub because Bub had a lot of playing time last year
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
got a lot of starting time last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Bub would just be fine with just end up losing,
Right.
that role and then taking a second string role.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and then I think Trey has to earn that. That's not going to be given to him,
I agree.
right? But what I like about him is how hard he works. Now I think he needs to put on some weight.
Yeah,
He
for
got to
sure.
put it I think his frame is pretty small,
Yeah.
and he has to pretty much be able to play in that NBA game.
Mm-hmm.
He has to get a little bit more muscle on him. But I like where he could go with this team.
Yeah, I think just the shooting right out of the gate will be the first thing he gives them. Is just another floor spacer, and he can eat up some of the Jordan Poole volume and gravity that he has. And if you get a little playmaking or a little defense for him from year one, I think that's a win. And we'll see if he can develop those things over time. So I totally with you there. Next one I got Bilal Koulibaly. Last year he played 59 games before getting hurt. 12.3 points, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Was 28% from three, 42% from the field. He's another one where the efficiency just has to get better for him to take a jump, especially from the field. I less care about the 3-point percentage, honestly, but when you're that athletic, you should be able to find a way to get a few more easier shots around the rim and things like that as a cutter or whatever. He could even be a guy that you run pick and roll with as a lob threat. He's that good an athlete. So I'd like to see him get better. To me, once he's healthy, he's probably a starter again, just because I think he's your best individual defender still. So I don't know, he's your wing stopper with some upside potential on offense. I don't know how he gets easy enough points to be the guy that takes a real jump offensively.
I think with Bilal, to me, is, growing up playing point guard in France, he understands, where guys he wants to wants to give a guy the ball, or the options that are open to give a guy the ball.
Yeah.
So to me, I would think since he plays that way, he could be able to play without the ball that way.
Yeah, you would think.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, he should be more of a cutter slasher,
right.
A guy that be hard to guard because he's moving more. I don't think he moves enough on offense.
Agreed.
But just like you said, you don't really care about the threes. I think I care about the threes a lot for him.
Okay.
Reason being is for him to be an effect. To me, he needs to be an effective downhill guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it just fits his game, his frame, his style of play, his length. The Scottie Pippen-esque type of frame.
Yeah.
To you have to respect a shot to be able to do some of those things.
100%.
Unless you're going to play a lot without the ball in your hand and move.
Yeah.
So I think he needs to really become a high percentage 3-point, shoot a high percentage from the three, right? He needs to at least get like 40. The more he can get higher from that three, the more you're going to finally see the guy we all been trying to get.
Yep.
Right? It don't mean he has to shoot a lot, but if he's very effective, now he gets to slash. Sure. Now they got to respect him at the 3-point line to where he can now play games with him and move a little bit more and slash a little bit more. But he has to be a guy with his length and his speed and his knowledge of the game. We need to have him moving a lot. He needs to be a free roamer for us.
I fully agree with you. Yeah, it's like with Denny. I think the 3-point shot would unlock a lot. And to be clear, I am worried about that. It's not that I'm not worried. To me, it's when you're that athletic and you can't really finish around the rim. That's almost more concerning to me. If both of them take a 10% jump, I'd be as happy as I could possibly be. But I think the 42% from the field from a guy that's that athletic, like it's something wrong. There's not scheming to do anything to get him some easy looks or something. I love what you said about being a cutter. I'd maybe just put him over to the side and let him watch Corey Kispert for a while he rehabs and just learn some of that.
He needs to have more attempts at the rim. Instead of watching Corey Kispert, I have Corey Kispert and Bilal watch the young player at Houston, the twin.
Oh, Amin Thompson.
Yeah,
I like that.
Look how many attempts he get at the rim. Just by always moving, cutting, just having a nose for where the ball, where opening is or where the ball could be, right? And I don't think Bilal is too far from Amin Thompson.
No, I totally agree with you.
Yep. So now add that, that natural instinctual, like Amin Thompson just plays strictly off instinct and hustle, right? With a guy who can really shoot the ball. Yeah. And what Bilal has that no one else that pretty much like in his position has is he has a lot of background as a point guard, so he understands finding somebody. Last year you can see how he made some good. He likes to pass a lot too.
Yep.
Sometimes I think he passed too much,
Mhm.
but he finds holes. He could thread some needles.
Yep. Ahmed Thompson is such a good and interesting comp for Koulibaly because they're drafted around the same portion of the draft in the same draft. Thompson last year, 14 points per game, 8.2 rebounds. The rebounding is a big differentiator between the two there. Assists 3.8, steals 1.4, blocks 1.3. Like he's a better athlete than Bilal, but not that much. Like they're the
Not that
same.
much.
Yeah, like they're both top tier athletes, but he was 56% from the field and Koulibaly's 42. Like he just found ways, like you said, to cut, get a couple easy runs and
Mm-hmm.
transition and things like that. Also has a little more help around him offensively, so maybe that makes his life a little easier, but not great from three, 27.5% on
Yeah.
1.3 attempts. Like he doesn't need to shoot threes to get it done. If Koulibaly could have the kind of year this year that Thompson had last year, I would consider that a huge victory for this team. So we'll see. Need our guy to take some kind of step in the right direction here. All right, let's move on to Malachi Branham. To me, best case scenario, this is like a microwave scorer off the bench. Most likely outcome, I think he's probably one of the two guys they consider waiving. They've got to get this roster down from 16 to 15 at the end of the preseason here. It's probably him and Dylan Jones are the two candidates, I would think. But anything you think of from Branham or anything, Johnny, that I don't know, any expectations for him at all over, from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I do. I think if he does get a shot, you know, he has to put up shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, he's there for one job right now.
Yeah. Shoot.
And if he can put some points, on the board.
Mm.
You have to consider it. Like Bill Russell said, in the end of the day, this game comes down to one thing:
Buckets.
buckets. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can do all this impacting the game, stopping, rebounding, defending, but if that scoreboard isn't lighting up, you lose it.
Yeah.
And if Malachi Brandon can understand that and understand it, really good,
Mm-hmm.
and just go out there and just be him and be the best version of him and know he got to light up the scoreboard, he can stick around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, of the two, he's the one I would be more interested in keeping around realistically. Played in 47 games last year, 5 points per game, one rebound, a little under one assist, but shot 40% from three. Again, on low volume, but I think it's a reasonable enough expectation that would scale up with him. Whereas Dylan Jones played 54 games, 2.5 points per game, 2.2 rebounds, 1.1 assist, 25% from three. That's the other thing. Like Dylan Jones at Weber State was incredible, but he was also huge volume. Some guys can't transition to being a low volume productive guy in the NBA. Like they need the ball and they need to be able to work their way into a routine and some rhythm. If Branham at least can come in and just be, hot off the bench every once in a while, to me that's the guy I'd be more interested in keeping around as kind of my last guy.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
All right. Cam Whitmore is the guy I've got next for us. Last year, played in 51 games, averaged 9.4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 35.5% from three, 75% from the free throw line, which I thought was good. This is a guy to me that should try to live at the free throw line, like you talked about with Sarr. I would be just trying to bully and slash my way to the rim if I were him and hit just enough threes to make people step out and guard me. But I'm hoping we see a big jump from Cam Whitmore personally.
Yeah, I love his body, man. As far as just his size, 6'7", 235 pounds. He just, like you say, he can really be a freight train out there.
Yeah,
he can be a freight train and put it and play with a chip on his shoulder. And put a lot of pressure on the rim. And get to the line a lot. That's something that we haven't seen. That type of player for the Wizards in a long time.
Yeah, it's true.
And so he understands that his type of game for this team is unique and could be an attribute. I think he'd be fine. And one thing about what media day, what he was saying is he had his chip on his shoulder since draft day.
Yeah.
To where what did he say? Because he dropped so far.
Yep.
You know, you expect to go much higher.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully, and then, you know, he barely played or got in the game at Houston, got in the game at Houston. So what I you know, I hated that it happened for him, but what I like is he has so much to prove right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He knows that he's a player. He knows he can play. I don't know what, you know, I don't know if, you know, all the things that happened that made him drop in the draft or made him not play at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
But he has to understand that he was a common denominator in all those situations.
Yeah.
And now I have a chip on my shoulder and I have something to prove, and I have to be laser focused when play just with blinders on and forget, you know, and forget everything that's existing in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to make a name for myself.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. He's interesting. Like Trey Johnson said on the court, Cam Whitmore's an amazing athlete. I haven't really seen anybody stop him yet. When he's running at you in transition, nobody's standing in front of that.
No.
I would take advantage of that if I were him, and you know that would be huge. So I think he's the guy that I have him like in the fringe starter group. Again, it's kind of to me between him, Keyshawn, and Middleton of who starts on the wing. You probably get two of the three, but he's a guy that even if he comes off the bench to start the year, I think he's going to play, you know, a healthy dose of minutes and get a lot of attempts. And honestly, this is a team where like if you're wired to score, you can go out and just kind of take it because there are a lot of guys that are kind of tentative, and I don't think they're going to be mad at you if you just go out and just start attacking the rim.
Yeah, what's tough is these new guys, right, that's wired to score, they can come in, like you said, they can come in and take it because it was so hard for us to get guaranteed scoring. We have a lot of good players, but we have a lot of good role players that's forced to try to be scorers. These guys now, we have brought in some natural scorers that, you know, you may, if you have to pull them back, you may have to pull them back from scoring and play more organized ball, but you don't have to make them score.
Yep.
And I think that's a great point because, like you said, now we got guys to put the ball in the basket, and that's what they're seeking to do, you know. And you know, like now Whitmore Cam, if he plays with an edge, that's another factor.
And I hope it rubs off on some of these other guys. But also, if we've talked a lot about like people's inability to get into the paint for this team and collapse a defense, he's a guy who could do that on the wing, and he's not been a great passer. So if he's a slightly more willing passer, he's going to draw some attention. If he can just make simple reads out to shooters, I think he's somebody that could also really help some of these other guys too.
And if I'm Sarr, and if he ends up being the guy who starts and really puts pressure on the rim, if I'm Sarr, I'm always right there in the dunker spot for the drop off if I need it, and I'm there to clean up everything.
Yeah,
because now I know I possibly can get at least 5 points, 5 to 6 points just off Whitmore.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got that, and now say that's a part of that's a part that I can add to how I break down my game. That's easy.
Yeah, a few easy extra points. It's that the free throws, a three here or there, you know, a little more situationally. But I'd love to see the two of them run a little more pick and roll. Like we wondered about who would be the pick and roll partner with Sarr because he would be better as a roller if he had a dynamic guard next to him. But a dynamic wing's not a bad, consolation prize here either.
Well, if Sarr takes the pool comment,
right,
personally,
set some good screens. Yep,
he may set some really good screens.
I like that. That would be cool. Yeah, hopefully he was paying attention to that one. Let's talk Bub Carrington for a minute. The only guy who played 82 games last year, which was awesome. Started 50 some of them, just under 10 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 33.9 percent from three. He's an 81% free throw shooter though, so he's another guy that I think if he can get to the line a little bit more, would be a good weapon for this team. I think the 3-point shooting will continue to get better. To me, he's a mid to high 30s level shooter once he gets there. Got the mid-range touchdown, all that kind of stuff already. Just need him to be like a little more efficient from the field overall. But I love the 4.4 assists. I think he's the guy probably most likely to lead this team in assists this year, and I think we'll see a pretty good jump from him offensively. He talked about at practice the other day. He only took 2 shots the entire practice because one, he was in facilitator mode, and two, they were just so focused on locking in defensively and things like that and the stuff they worked on. So I don't know. To me, like if he takes a jump a little bit as a shooter and just continues to improve defensively, get stronger, know where to be, and is just like a distributor for this team, I think that's going to be a huge role to play.
Well, I know on media day he really hit on that. He said that he needs to take more attempts at the rim,
Yeah, for sure.
which I think is really good. I think
100%.
that's out of all of his game,
Yeah.
him being able to take and get more attempts at the rim
Mm-hmm.
and start to draw some of those defenders, suck into
Yeah.
defense and then drop off, facilitate right there. Now that's going to open up the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fast enough to get downhill. And if he can get more tips at the rim and just you drop off, or, some floater finishes, I think it's great. So,
Just on
other
that,
than
Jahadi,
that,
he was 1 free throw a game last year. That's just not good enough. He needs to be a half dozen, something like that.
he has to be willing to get beat up.
Yeah, yeah.
The only way you're gonna do it, you got to take the attempts at the rim.
Right, exactly.
And I think he'd be good. And the reason I think that's one of the main reasons why he's saying that he needs to take more attempts at the rim because he can get to the free throw line.
Yep.
Right. I know I can get at least 10 points from the free throw line if I'm taking more attempts at the rim. Not only that, I'm getting SAR involved more.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now I'm being able to kick out to Trey, or to another shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he's going to be the guy to have to sacrifice that.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll take at least a modest jump there. Maybe the numbers aren't crazy better, but I think the efficiency will go up for those reasons. He's probably
and that's probably the reason why he said he gained 11 pounds. He put 11 pounds on.
Yeah,
because he knows, okay, I'm going to have to take these hits going down there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be the most explosive guard on the court, so if you're strong and physical and can take some of the hits, and now guys are afraid to hit you, I think that's the lane he should try to fill for that team. Be a little bit of a bruiser on the perimeter. That would be smart. Yeah, I'm definitely with you. Let's go Keyshawn George here. Worst case scenario, he's a 3-and-D plus some playmaking, but to me, this is the guy I'm expecting to take the biggest jump forward. We talked about this last episode, but I just think what he did with Team Canada and things like that are interesting. And you're starting to hear it from some of his teammates. Corey Kispert had some really nice things to say about just how much calmer he looked on the court and more settled. He said he was playing with his own pace. He's super strong. He's been really aggressive. I love hearing all those things. Last year he played in 68 games, averaged 8.7 points, 4.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists. Again, was only 37% from the field, which has to get better. And I think that's the theme from all these young rookies. To me, that's just a strength thing. Again, finishing at the rim like we talked about with Sar and Bub. Was 32% from 3 after a putrid start to the year. So I think this is a guy that if he was 38% from 3 this year, wouldn't shock me, or even higher potentially. And I love, where he's going to be able to take his game to and the ceiling that he has.
Yeah, I like what he said too. He said, he said that I want to create more of his own shot. He's like, I got to start creating my own shot instead of being able to just get open off catches and shoot. Right. So which means he wants to put the ball on the floor more and create his own shot. Yeah. And then he also said that he wants to, get more paint play, points in the paint, which is, so what he's trying to do to me is really build an all around game. He's put on 4 pounds of lean muscle, man. So he's really preparing to really be more of a bruiser because he wants to get a lot more points in the paint and in the paint area. But like I agree with you. He's a guy I feel like has the biggest upside that I'm more looking forward to. Like you said, that when he played this summer, he really showed what he can do, and he really made an impact this summer. So just like we're looking for him to become one of those guys who are going to have a huge upside, I think the team is expecting a huge upside too. Yep. I know the other teammate was talking about how much he was becoming much more of a leader. Even in his second year, he'd start taking much more of a leadership role.
which is awesome.
So I think his mind is in the right place, and I think he also his confidence is higher than it ever been,
Mm-hmm.
and he's looking to. He has a mission for this year.
Yeah. Yeah, confidence I think is huge with him. He missed all those shots to start the year last year, and it seemed like it rattled his confidence in his
Yeah.
shot. This summer, I think, gave him a little bit of that swagger back. So hopefully that changes a lot for him here. Next guy I've got is Justin Champagny. Kind of a surprise, last year. I don't think people expected much,
Yeah.
but was super productive. I loved what he gave this team. He's another probably guy that could maybe have a puncher's chance at starting at the 4 or something like that. If one of these other guys isn't ready to step up here, or maybe Middleton's banged up, or whatever the case may be. I think he could be plug and play at a lot of different spots for them, which is huge. He played in 62 games, averaged 8.8 points, 5.7 rebounds, about 1 assist, 38% from 3. Just pretty solid, reasonably efficient. I think he plays good defense. He just plays hard all the time. He's like a grown man. He's not afraid to be physical. I'm super happy they're keeping Champagny around, and he's on a really valuable contract too. If I were Cleveland or one of these playoff teams, I'd be seeing what I could do to get someone like him from Washington.
He's just a useful player,
Yeah, right. That's a good way to
and
put it.
and he's to me he's much more useful than the time that he was given last year.
Yeah,
To me,
100%.
he'll have a breakout game, and then
Sit for a week.
he'll sit for a week.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, man, that's a guy we really need out there on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and he's probably our most consistent guy last year.
Yeah.
Right when
He
he
did
got
start the
out
year
there,
on a two-way
he still
contract.
gave you he still gave you exactly what you expected, from the first game. So, I hope they let him play more and just say, look, you proved yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You get significant minutes this year. We're not playing with him.
Yeah.
And I think he's a good guy. What I like is he's another guy that's really just can put the ball in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about this team right now is we have guys who their first mission is to put the ball in the basket.
Mm-hmm. He did start the year on a two-way contract, so that may have had something to do with them yo-yoing his minutes a little bit since he had the cap on them. But I'm wholeheartedly with you that this is a guy this year that, for him, it's probably hard if you play well and then you don't play, regardless of the contract situation.
Yeah.
I think he could take a little jump here too, just from can be more settled and not, he's not fighting for a spot or to prove himself at all times. So he's a guy that I think will be really good competition for somebody like Cam Whitmore. Whitmore's more physically talented, but Champagny's just effective. And I think, if he can pick up a few things from Champagny too about Champagny's a guy that yeah, exactly. So I think that'll be good for both of them. Let's go Marvin Bagley. I think pretty just safe to say backup center here. Maybe a little undersized. I would have loved to have one backup big that's just got a little more beef to him for when Sarr doesn't have a good matchup with a guy. But averaged 4.4 points last year in 31 games. Again, was kind of hurt a lot, which has been the story of his career. 2.7 rebounds, half an assist. But earlier in his career playing for the Wizards, he played 24 games in 23-24 season. He averaged 13.3 points in those games and 8-point rebound. So he can be effective. We saw it. We thought good things about him coming in. He's just got to stay on the floor for this team. They have no backups really other than Vukcevic if Bagley goes down.
I think injuries really limited what Bagley can do. I've seen Bagley in high school, and
right.
He was an all-around player.
It's incredible in college too. Yeah.
Yeah, he can do. He had so many attributes to his game.
Mm-hmm.
To now, he's just become like a bruiser, rebounder,
rim runner or something.
Yeah, rim runner, Tristan Thompson type of guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great comp.
Which is fine. Yeah, probably not fine for him because he knew.
Yeah,
but I think he just become limited, and injuries has limited him for all the other aspects of his game, and he had to kind of put him on the back burner, right? So Bagley's going to get you what Bagley's going to get you. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's undersized, but he doesn't mind sacrificing his body and bruising and rebounding. getting you some chip ins. Not a great rim protector,
No.
but he's going to run the floor. He's going to work hard, and
Mm-hmm.
so you always need one of those type of guys to come in and get you some tough minutes. Where he's just like, okay, this guy's it's gonna be a physical play.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of a throwback player. He's playing a throwback game right now.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with Bagley being the backup. I think we have enough firepower that
Mm-hmm.
Bagley can just do his job.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just stay on the floor. That's all I need from you at this point. Just be serviceable and be healthy. It's gonna get dark if he's out. If Sar misses any time, like you're literally your only bigs left at that point are Vucevic and Gill. Like those would be dark days for Wizards fandom, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, let's talk about the guy next. I just mentioned a couple times there, Tristan Vucevic, still on a 2-way contract. We talked about him a good amount last week, so if anybody wants a deep dive on him, go listen to that convo. But the numbers are pretty good on paper. 35 games last year, averaged 9.5 points, 3.7 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 37% from three. That's pretty solid for an end of rotation guy. If we can see him do it for 70 games this season, even in more minutes, I think there's still, like you said it well last week. Like there's a place for him offensively if he wants it, and defensively we'll see if he improves at all. But he's gonna get opportunities this year.
Well, if I'm him, I'm looking at, okay, our only primary scorer as a 5 is Sar.
Yeah.
Right. I have to be able to play my game.
Mm-hmm.
Be more physical. Don't seem like a
Yeah.
physical guy, but he has an effect of European style game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see spurts of great European centers in his game.
Yeah. Some of
So
the
you can
passing's
tell,
really good.
yeah, and can pass very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he definitely needs to get his rebounding up.
Yeah, for sure.
If he's out there, he has to be able to rebound the ball. Right?
Agreed.
And he has to want to.
Mm-hmm.
And just with him, like I said, like he's been on all these 2-ways. He's been sticking around, and he's been sticking around just because
flashes of talent.
The flashes of talent are blinding.
Yep.
They're like blinding flashes of talent. Like
Mm-hmm.
we see, if you just put it all together, you can really help us out.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's up to him if he truly wants to put it all together,
Yep.
or like I said, on the last podcast, or is he just fine just being?
Right.
And I don't know if he's just fine just being.
Mm-hmm.
And starting to look, he seemed like he's sometimes get comfortable and just like sitting comfortably and just fine just being. And if he ever comes out of that and really puts something behind it, he could really help this team out and himself.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to see him just try to go take Marvin Bagley's lunch money in the preseason here, and just like, I'm the backup on this team, or even I'm a fringe starter on this team. Like, I could beat out 4-2 Marvin Bagley. If you can't, like, that's not a great sign for you long term. I don't think, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got to just be a little bit of bully a little bit.
Yeah, you're bigger than him.
You got to play a little
physical.
bit more bully ball.
Yeah, I agree. Get a little mean. I'd love to see a little mean from him.
Mm.
AJ Johnson, to me, we talked about this last episode. I don't want to beat a dead horse. He's a back half of the rotation guard. It looks a little like maybe more solid this year, so he put on some weight in the offseason. Still thin though. If I'm him, I would be trying to make my bones as a like lockdown point of attack defender and just use this crazy athleticism I have to. I would be watching like the any of the like little pesty, undersized, small guards, Jose Alvarado types, and just pick guys up 94 feet. And if they can be more physical than me, I'm going to at least be a nuisance and use my length and athleticism. But just seems content to want to try to like get some open court dunks, and that's enough so far. So I don't know. I need more from him this year.
He has to do one thing that we can depend on, right? Yep. And like you said, and one thing he should be doing is just being the ultimate pest, right? I love that. You have to be the ultimate pest and drive other teams crazy, right? that right there, okay, you could stick around a little bit. Like you said,
Yeah.
Jose Alvarado, like just he was an ultimate plus. He'd stay in that little corner while, while they're trying to inbound the ball and back
Yeah.
tap you every time. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's going to play because of that.
Exactly.
You know, um,
And
guy from the
AJ's.
from the Celtics,
Oh, Derek White.
White,
Yeah.
Derek
Yeah.
White, yeah. Like be one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys can sustain
Oh
in
yeah.
this league.
Yep.
Because it may not be some great things they're doing, but it impacts winning so much, and it's much needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and before you know it, those guys you like let me put that guy on the floor because every time they're on the floor, turnovers happen.
Yeah.
Turnovers happen. I have to play.
Mm-hmm.
You create turnovers for the other team. And so now he's like, I have to be the ultimate turnover guy, like the
Mm-hmm.
forced turnovers.
That would be incredible. And they asked Trey Johnson what he'd learned from CJ McCollum so far, and he just said his pace that he plays with, and that CJ is at 70% speed and is not going to go 100 unless he needs to. That'd be a great lesson for an AJ Johnson who is just like downhill 100% offensively all times. Is
Mhm.
how to pick and choose your spots a little bit, how to be, when to be more aggressive. And if it's harder for people to settle in and know it, like if you're just always 100%, okay, I know what this guy's going to do, it's easy to scout. But he talked about how he's a half an inch taller and he's added on 9 pounds of muscle this whole season. It's like, that's all great, but you got it. Like you said, you nailed it. You show one thing you can do that gives this team something to want to invest in you long term would be
Right.
huge. All right. Will Riley, this year's rookie, to me, he's a developmental player. I think he'll play a good amount in the G League this year. But the reports from camp so far have been positive that he's shown some good things and being active at least. So, maybe he's got a little bit more there, but I just wouldn't expect him to play a ton of minutes this season with this group.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of those guys who's really just end up going to the G League
Yeah.
mostly for the year and having a good G League year,
Mm-hmm.
and just have him develop a lot, and then next year is kind of see where he stands,
Yep.
and think by next year he should probably could stick around a bit longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
If not, go to another team, another NBA team, and actually, once he has that G League under his belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have some clips to show people, and hopefully somebody
Mm-hmm.
would want to trade for him and that sort of thing. Jameer Watkins, the other rookie, comes in. He's on a two-way contract, so he is kind of limited. He will definitely play some G League minutes. I think he's going to be a great guy to push these guys in camp and practice and all this stuff we talked about. But another wing on a team full of wings right now, there's just not going to be a lot of room unless some of these guys, miss some time. I would imagine they want to see what they've got with the Malachi Branhams and the Dylan Joneses and things like that. And, if Watkins does play, I think to me it's more of a second half of the year kind of guy.
He's just in a tough situation. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's a wing heavy team, just as much as like I feel like AJ Johnson tough situation because it's a guard heavy team.
Mm-hmm.
So those they're going to have to really earn their way. They're going to have to fight and claw and stick around
Right.
on this team. Just be real,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that they understand that this is going to be a fight and claw
Mm-hmm.
type of situation, just like a Jordan Goodwin that he just had to keep
Right.
fighting claw until he remained and sustained.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be one of those situations with both of them, more than any other players, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, as long as they understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be good for competition to have those guys out there because he's going to work hard at the very least, and he'll be a pest at a minimum. The other guy here is Sharif Cooper, the last two-way contract. Mostly a G League guy, probably, in my opinion, but he's a great G League point guard for some of these other guys because he's quick enough, he'll set people up, he's got real vision. He's played 13 NBA games so far in the 2021-22 season, so this is a guy that's, he's been in the G League, he's gone overseas, he averaged a half a point, a half a rebound, and a half an assist per game. This was a dude that was super talented, was incredible as a freshman at Auburn. He's just undersized and doesn't shoot well enough. But I think he'd be a great point guard for anybody on the go-go and make them all look better. And, if he plays a few minutes for the Wizards and gets a call-up or two, that might be worth it for him to stick around and then the G League for a year.
Well, it's just with him. I just feel like it's going to come down to how much better did he get.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna for him to be able to play. I mean, he's been in and out of G League and
Yep.
overseas. The pattern he's been through. He's going through it and he's trying to fight to sustain. But
Mm-hmm.
I think his point is growth. How
Yeah.
much did he grow as a player and what did he add to his game?
Mm-hmm.
Because the same player, even if he's playing harder as the same style game, it's going to be tough for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have like we said, and I think that his is going to have to be more scoring wise or facilitator wise that you can depend on. Right now, he's a good player. I don't know what you can depend on.
Yeah, I agree. In Auburn, as a freshman in the SEC, he played 12 games, which was another thing. He's not super durable for them, but he averaged 20 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists, and didn't actually shoot that well. Like, he was 39% from the field and 23% from three. So, like, he wasn't even efficient, and he was a 20-8 guy as a freshman in the best conference in basketball. Like, if you're undersized in the NBA, you have to be able to shoot, unless you're TJ McConnell somehow. But, like you said, can he score? Can he pass? Can he do a little bit of both? He's another guy I would be super pesty if I could, and that's how you at least get a call up or two. But yeah, we'll see if there's anything there.
Yeah, and yeah, like with him mostly, those guys who are on that teeter and just been on that teeter for a year or two, it's most likely not going to be on the offensive end that keeps them in the game.
Exactly. Can you make your teammates better? Can you get up in people defensively? Can you hit some open shots? Cool. Yeah. I'll take that. They had Keyshawn Gilbert, a rookie coming out of Iowa State, and Jonathan Pierre, a rookie coming out of Belmont, on Exhibit 10 contracts. They have waived them in the last 36 hours or whatever the case may be, which means that those guys will get a bonus to go play for the Capital City Go-Go this year. And they've brought in Leaky Black and AK Gack, 2 guys that played Summer League for them. All of these guys to me are they're probably G League guys. I don't really see much NBA future for them, but filling out the Go-Go roster, I think they're all solid. Leaky Black is an NBA quality perimeter defender. He just has not been able to shoot well enough to stay on an NBA floor, and he's got the physical tools. I mean, a guy that's 6'7" and a super defender and a super athlete. Like, I think teams want him to be able to make it work. And last 2 seasons ago in Charlotte, he shot decently from 3 on no volume, but in the G League, he was back down into low 30s again. It's just, I don't know. We'll see if he can take any stride on that end.
And that's so weird that he's shooting a lower percentage in the G League than he is when he did in the NBA. But I think with him, it's just like,
it was like 0.8 attempts in the NBA though. Like, he was barely getting them up.
Yeah, it's some guys can just work on shooting all day.
Yeah.
They can work on shooting all day till they blue in the face and mechanics right, and
it's never gonna get.
And there. It just don't always come together, And I can just tell with Leaky Black, he's always had the same kind of monster on his back that's shooting.
Yeah.
And he's been doing everything he can to be a better shooter, and he has become a better shooter, but it's just probably one of those crutches, that's just one of his handicaps, just shooting, and it's just, I hate to say it, but that's just been kind of holding him back this entire time.
I don't mind a guy like that on a G League team, though. At least, he's going to give you some amount of solid play on one end of the court, and another thing where he's going to raise the level of the guys around him in one setting. Last year he played 33 regular season games for the Go-Go, averaged 8.5 points. Actually shot 39% from 3 in the G League last year in those games, which is better than I remembered. But again, really low volume. So we'll see if it translates. He's a guy, though, I think you could call up if you needed a 10-day or something, and he'd at least defend at NBA level. I'm not mad at a guy like that hanging around.
One thing about him, you can put him on the floor and don't have to worry about him.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be an adult and just do his thing. So there's some dudes there on the G League that I think are serviceable. There's no one where I'm like really excited about like their long term growth in past years. They've had a few guys where I'm like, oh, okay, like maybe there's something here. If he does this thing, he's probably an exciting NBA player. I don't really see much of that from any of these dudes, which is a little bit of discouraging factor about the G League team. But I guess they're going to rely on getting a lot of minutes to Will Riley and Jameer Watkins and guys like that. So not mad at it. Jahadi, anything else on the roster or anything you're expecting from this group overall?
No, not right now. Still excited to see what a lot of the new guys do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think this is gonna be a more fun season than last year. I think they'll be more competitive across the board. Next season, we'll get into like predictions and stuff like that for the season here a little bit. So if people have questions too, we'll take those. Hit us up and just DM us or whatever, and we'll get your questions in. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button for us, rate, review, subscribe. Haven't had an iTunes review in a while, so if anybody wants to help us out there, we appreciate it. If you have left a review in the past, you can still leave another one. So throw us a bone. We always appreciate those kind of things. Jahadi, have a good week, and I'll talk to you end of next week.
All right, man. See you next week.
All right, everybody. You know what to do. Rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.